Even if it's just one person.
Even if it's just one.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, I think it forces everyone to be an active learner. Everyone has to participate.
Take any, over the next couple of days, you're going to be here for a long time this week, take any of the processes and think about how I can bring this back to my protege, how I can bring this back to my school, and how I can bring this back to my classroom. You can use these models in very many different ways. One of the philosophies that we have in our training is that you're not here to learn from us. We are here to facilitate your learning so you can learn from each other. It's really very collaborative. We will give you resources and we will facilitate, but we hope that you really come away, and I think you already have, from learning from each other.
So this is something like, it's sort of like a model that I know called think, pair, share.
Exactly.
You think and then you pair, and then you share. But why did you choose, I'm just asking in terms of pedagogy, why did you choose that we would share as pairs instead of us sharing, let's say, on one sheet in the front where, let's say, everyone would see it, or because that way now we have a lot of different ideas, and now you have to pull from there, and you'll probably only be able to pull a few, right?
Okay, keep going. You're doing good. I mean, this group is the best segue to every activity we're doing. I love it. Can we take you with us wherever we go? I really appreciate it. Thank you. Stay with us. Don't go. You're going to see what's going to happen next.
Well, I was just going to reflect on why we would want to do it this way. In terms of, this is a very scary bunch. And I have
Thank you.
Yes, and I have a very nice rabbi next to me. So I'll put down a card and we'll talk and we'll be fine. I got a chance to meet the lady to my left. But if it was all over there, I'm probably going to hide behind my laptop or just not participate.
There you go. That's good. We brought you out of the shell. I love it.
It's
Great.
very hard for me to do.
Oh my God, but you did it. Oh my gosh. We engaged you in conversation. You learned. You had a conversation about 6 of our standards. Did you notice anything else, though, about the standards? Now let's talk about the content. What did you notice? Anything that you noticed? It's not a trick question. I don't know what you noticed. Okay, I don't have an answer.
Well, we noticed it was hard to fit everything into the clearly categories.
Okay, so what else did we do then? What else did you notice?
So especially the top two categories, there was a lot of overlap.
Right.
If you engage students properly, then you'll have the right environment. If you have the right environment, the students will be engaged. So we just put lots of things on the border.
There you go. Right, great, terrific, thank you.
Developing as a professional educator was very blank, and it seemed like because you kind of don't want them to be looking on the internet and reading books in the middle of class. So the way the question was phrased, what would you see in the classroom, that became very empty.
I love it. And that's exactly what Faggy was hoping that somebody would say, that one was a little emptier than maybe some of the others, but it may not have been.
Which one was that?
I mean, I just want to
Developing as a
respond.
professional, I'm sorry.
I want to respond to that, but
Good.
I think what you were saying before, where you'd want to walk in and see a teacher sitting with a student, saying, well, how does your assignment fit into the rubric, and discussing that. I mean, every one of those kind of conferencing with students is really building you as a professional. Right? You're perfecting your practice.
That's what we want to do. Exactly. That's exactly what it is. So did you notice that all these are good strategies for teaching? Right? Isn't that what basically you came up with? And you may have come up with one or two, as you said before, that you can now bring back to your classroom for yourself. But you see the way, and we don't mean this to be very neat, but that's how come our standards were developed. It was developed first by what is it that we're looking for when we go into a classroom, when we have conversations with our proteges. What is it that we want to instill in them? And it was from that the standards were created. Okay. And a lot of people now are using a lot of districts out there, a lot of organizations are actually using the standards in an evaluatory way. We have something that we did not bring today, and it's called the continuum. So when you meet, and we talk about goal setting, when you meet with a protege and you look at our continuum, let's say effective environment, we have a category, emerging, beginning, so on and so forth, all up to integrating, and it's a lifetime of teaching. And that's where we have our proteges sitting with our mentors, working together collaboratively, doing goal setting based on that continuum of the standards. So we do take it one step further. So with that, I hope that you thank your little group, okay, for the sharing and the learning together. Okay, great. And now Faggy is going to do exactly what you're asking for, and we're going to take this activity a little deeper into one of the standards.
Okay, thank you, Shelley. And as Shelley mentioned, as you noticed, these are purposefully interrelated. Because your new teacher may be wanting to focus on classroom management and you think they really need to do the lesson planning. But if you work with where they're at, you get to exactly what you need to because they're so interwoven and interrelated. And we invite you to adopt this in your work with your protege and talking about what is quality teaching, unwrapping and unpacking. What do they think a quality teacher is like? It's a great conversation to have. And taking a look even at these 6 standards and saying, well, where do you think this would fit in? And just the conversation is of tremendous value. So we invite you to do that. What we're going to ask you now is, I'm going to ask you first to number off 1 through 6. Would you begin, Yael? Just say 1.
1,
2.
2, 3,
4.
5,
6,
1, 2, 0.
3, 4.
5, 6.
1. Okay, terrific. So,
Wait.
oh, sorry.
Get numbers.
That's why I need Shelley here first.
So
Say
what I have to take to 2.
3.
3. Okay, thank you. As you notice, there are charts around the room. We're going to be looking more deeply at one of the standards, at the standard of effective environment. And we chose that standard purposely because your proteges may be very consumed by thinking about effective environment and classroom management issues. So we thought we would go a little bit deeper into that particular standard. What we're going to ask you to do is we're going to ask you to begin by going to the poster of your number and asking yourselves, what might a quality teacher be thinking or doing if they were to look at this particular element? So for example, I'll model one for you. Establishing and maintaining standards for student behavior. Well, a quality teacher might be co-creating with a class a list of norms that we were going to be following by in the classroom. What is the impact on student learning? The impact on student learning is that the children understand what is expected of them and that the expectations are clear and accessible to everybody. These are the instructions for the activity, which I'm going to go over again with you. I do want to let you know the standard for effective environment is in your packet, so that you'll be able to take a look at each element and to go more deeply as you have the conversation. At the chime, we're going to give you about 2-3 minutes for each one. We're going to sound a chime. We're going to ask you to move to the next number chart and do the same conversation, have the same conversation, jot down, take a pen with you, and a marker. You have markers in your boxes. Take a marker with you. Jot down by each chart till you come to the last one, and then we will take you further after that. What might be some of your questions regarding the activity? Okay? And again, the important part here is the conversation about quality teaching. What does it look like and what does it sound like? Okay? Any questions? Then I invite you, please. Yes, sir.
I'm sorry. I'm going to be interested. I'm doing the learning disabled one. What exactly am I supposed to do?
You know, you may be asking a question that other people have in mind, so thank you. We're going to ask you to go to start. What number are you?
I'm 3.
You're
So
number 3.
Go to that
You're
board.
going to start to that board, and you're going to go with a partner because you're somebody else
There's
in this
some number
room
3 in the room.
who are number 3s. And you're going to have a conversation about this element. Okay, each standard has an element. Using instructional time effectively.
Okay.
And you're going to have a conversation
With my partner.
with your partners. What might a quality teacher be doing or saying in using instructional time effectively? And you're going to write it down.
Do I put anything on that board?
You're going to write down whatever it is that you decide as a group that a quality teacher may be doing or saying, and what is the impact of that on student learning. And then at the chime, you're going to move over to number 4, 5, 6, and do the same thing for each one. Shelley?
You might want to carry this with you. You might want to look, continually look at page 8, because it has the elements and it has indicators. So that might help you.
Please write legibly. Other people are going to be reading what you're writing.
You want to write on that.
Write on that. Write on this, okay?
And it's a
Let's
group
start.
activity.
It's a group activity. You're talking about.
Listen, I'm always coaches anybody who teaches in a college. What do I do?
The model.
You just moved up professional teachers.
Hi.
Yes. Yes.
Oh, Marnie.
Marty, hi.
Yeah.
Morning. Nice to meet you. I got Red. I'm a real teacher.
All right.
Wow.
I was going to do brown checkers. Just purple.
Lilac.
Another option.
Good. Okay.
All right.
Fairness and
Respect environment. Establishing a climate
That like a good thing?
that promotes fairness and respect. What might a quality teacher be doing or saying?
I guess so.
Fairness and respect.
Respect is good.
Okay.
I like it, making sure they don't interrupt each other. In addition to not interrupting you.
That's really important. Yes, listening to one another.
Beating them when they interrupt.
Not interrupting, but listening. Listening
That's
to
good.
one another. That's really
So,
important.
how did what would you
Directing.
They go together. We're not interrupting and with the
Directing students not to interrupt each other. Let's say more must be positive. Directing students to listen to each other.
how about modeling listening?
what is the impact on student learning? Students will learn to will learn to listen to each other before reacting. I don't know.
Learn to be respectful.
They'll also get different perspectives.
Right.
Learn. Listen to the person. Wait till they stop talking.
What if they listen to somebody and in their mind they're saying this guy's an idiot?
Okay. They'll learn to act respectful.
Oh, okay. That's
true.
Respect may grow from
hard
that.
to measure that the top level of goals. Like how do you measure if a person loves Torah? Maybe they are acting very nice in class and really they don't care about anything. Somebody's got that.
Notice how you jumped right in with the red pen. Didn't ask you to write.
That was
Fairness and respect.
Now
Is that-
someone else.
somebody has.
That's someone with better handwriting than
All
me.
right. Let's see.
What kind of
Please
quality?
start to write something on your charts. We're going to be moving in another moment. So,
Oh, no. Okay, what else?
Fairness and respect.
oh no, that's not good.
I'm wondering how, because directing them.
Anybody else need a marker?
Oh, okay. What about the teacher drawing out statements made by students who
Anybody need a marker? Anybody need a marker?
validating what students are saying, so they should learn. That's like one way to model it, not just listening, but also validating it, so that the students are
Commenting on it.
commenting on what other people say.
What other people say before moving on to the next thing, before moving on to the next idea, exploring an idea, giving time, taking patience to explore an idea. Yeah, this applies also to 4-year-olds, very much so.
There's actually a lot of having young children and teaching in high school. There's a tremendous amount of similarity between preschoolers and high school kids.
Interesting.
And sometimes they're very
and
different.
teachers meeting.
A it's weird, but it's like the same thing. Like you don't argue with them. So I understand what you're saying. You know, I'm not going to argue with you. Same thing with 3-year-old. I'm not going to argue with you. I understand what you're saying. This is what's going to happen.
Well, they're both a couple of years past birth, and when they're both on puberty.
That's true.
Second child.
Okay, so how does that impact on the student learning?
It could bring out
That's okay. That's okay. Somebody else is going to write on it.
Yeah, that's good.
Oh no, don't be
Learn
stressed.
to listen.
I'm just worried. I'm just checking. Thank you. Thank you for clarification. Oh, what's the
It's a very relaxing bell.
Okay, we're supposed to go to 3.
impact?
Effective environment. Establishing culture promotes fairness and respect. What might a quality teacher be doing or saying? Where'd you go?
Well, everyone gets a chance to leave for our session, I guess.
I we're going back to our seats to talk about it. That's the instructions. So we're doing
gosh.
adding one here? Or
Yeah, establishing a climate that promotes fairness and respect.
what might a quality teacher be doing? Fairness and respect.
Oh my gosh. I like the modeling.
For the respect thing, I always like telling my students that I don't know everything and that I can make a mistake and admitting that I make mistakes. Sometimes they catch me and I made a mistake, but I don't, I admit it right away as opposed to trying to cover it up. I think that shows them that they can also make mistakes, but I don't know if that's that's more like respect. I think it helps them gain respect.
Fairness and respect.
Is that fair though? I guess so, because if they think they're right, sometimes they are right.
Validating the ability to be wrong.
Right. So admit it, being able to admit that you might not know something.
And also it would impact student learning in the sense that once you create that environment, they're going to feel more open to like positive ideas that they're not sure of because they too. Okay,
so how should we phrase it?
That's your job.
Oh, that's great. What might a college teacher say? I, as the teacher,
I was in 26, 22, based on
Get good footage material.
They're good for
Just look busy, you guys. That's all you got to do is look busy.